Is Google AdSense as bad as everybody makes it out to be? I started blogging for the first time this year, and I want to document my journey of content creation and blogging and just making money online. I joined Google AdSense at the beginning of April 2024. I had never been a part of Google AdSense before or any sort of ad network, and I also had just started my blogging journey, and I was looking to make a little bit of money while I was learning everything. AdSense is great because you don't really have a lot of things that you need to worry about when you first are starting with Google AdSense. There aren't really any minimum requirements for how many sessions you need or page views, so that's why it's always usually a start for many bloggers. I had heard a lot about Google AdSense when I was first doing my research on it. A lot of people just saying to skip over it, it's not really worth it, you're not going to make a lot of money from it. I honestly had the opposite experience. I want to preface all of this by saying that I had a TikTok following, so I had pretty good engagement and sessions and page views, more so than a typical blogger who is just starting out their journey. I had over 60,000 followers on TikTok, and a lot of them were converting and coming to my website anyways. It made sense for me to have some sort of ad network on there so that I could make a little bit of money, because as a Canadian on TikTok, I can't make any money from TikTok unless it's through brand deals, which I don't really do, to be honest. So with Google AdSense, when I first signed up for it, I was expecting RPMs around $5 to $7 because that is what I read was pretty typical, especially with new bloggers. I don't know if it was because of the niche that I'm in or because of the amount of traffic I had. I didn't have any domain authority really, but my RPMs in my first month were between $25 and $43. And if you don't know what an RPM is, it's revenue per mille, I think. So if my RPM is $43, that means for every 1,000 page views, I was getting paid $43. So that is very high. Typically, that's more so like for higher ad networks, we'll have something around like $30 to $40. But I was getting that with Google AdSense, and that was my experience. I didn't think it would be something that would last because I kept being told that Google AdSense is not good for making money. But it lasted for the 6 weeks that I was using Google AdSense. Once I finished, I moved over to Mediavine Journey because that's what I'd gotten into, and I eventually want to get into Mediavine, and I'm pretty sure it's a lot easier to go from Mediavine Journey to Mediavine than it is to go from Google AdSense to Mediavine. At least that's what they're kind of talking about right now. With Mediavine Journey, they are saying that it's like a stepping stone to Mediavine. It might be making it a little bit easier to get into Mediavine if you're already on Mediavine Journey, but this is something that I'm working towards, so I don't really know. When it comes to Google AdSense, there are a couple of things that you need to know of what you actually need in order to get approved for it, because there is an approval stage for it. I don't know the exact number of minimum posts that you need on a website because when I was researching it, it was kind of unclear. I had already had 50 posts on my website before I even applied for Google AdSense. So for me, I don't really know what the minimum is there. I would think it's between 20 and 30 posts maybe, but I don't know for sure. Another thing that you need to make sure that you have on your website is a privacy policy, a contact page, and an about page. You can't get approved for Google AdSense without those things. You also need to make sure that your content is not thin. You need to make sure that your content is helpful. You need to make sure that it is unique, it is helpful, and that people are clicking on it. At the end of the day, in my first month on Google AdSense, I made just over $1,600, and on my second month, I made just over $2,000. So overall, my experience with Google AdSense was actually very good, and I don't think it's as typical as it has been with other bloggers that are on Google AdSense. And I don't know if this is like a different update because it's my first time applying for it and it's 2024, or if it was my niche selection. I overall do recommend Google AdSense, especially for new bloggers who are looking to make at least enough to cover their costs for starting a new blog. You're going to get that with Google AdSense, and it's the easiest one to get into. The only thing I don't like about Google AdSense is it made my content look very spammy. I had the minimum number of ads on my website. I had the minimum number of like sticky ads and like banner ads, and it still looked very spammy. And on top of it looking spammy, it also slowed down my website a lot. which is not good if you are trying to get more sessions, get more page views. People are not going to stick around if you have a slow website. So that's another reason why a lot of people like things like a Mediavine or a Zoic, because those premium ad networks don't slow down your website the way that Google AdSense does. I think I covered everything that I wanted to talk about with Google AdSense. I just published my June blogging income report. So that was from my first month on Mediavine journey. I will link that down below if you want to read. And I talk about my RPMs with Mediavine journey so far. If you liked that video, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I will be providing updates every single week.